John came out to Australia. When he came out, no one knew who he was. I didn't ever know who he was. I just got this press release saying, this singer-songwriter from America has got this album and, he's coming out to do a showcase. So I was invited to the showcase and there was only about 20 people at this really sort of dingy sort of inner city sort of bar. And most of them who were there were more interested in having their free alcohol and, just sort of checking out who this guy guitar player is. So John's on stage he's playing all these tunes, no one's sort of really taking much note. And I can sense that, this is a guy who's really extremely, talented on the guitar and's got some great songs. And he got to the last song and he could see that he wasn't winning, many people over. So he decided to throw in a cover of Stevie Ray Vaughan's Lenny, right? And which is he just played it, and all of a sudden everybody just swarmed in front. And they go, wow. And he just did this amazing cover, one of the best covers I've ever sort of heard from an artist. And he won everybody over. And I knew straight down, I thought, well, this guy's going to be going places. So what happened then was 6 months later, he broke. He was becoming a really big star in Australia. So he came out again. And I got to sort of interview him again. He remembered everything in detail, where we were, what we talked about. I thought, wow, this guy is, pretty switched on. He remembers me. He must have done hundreds of interviews since then. So we got on really well, and he opened up to me, and he just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the following year he came out again, and he asked for me again personally, and yeah, and he offered me tickets again to the show, and then after I think it was the fourth time he got so big that it's sort of like he started falling into the trappings of sort of fame and fortune. You could see that shift in him, how he's becoming a bit more sort of not who he was at the start. So, and unfortunately, I lost contact with him ever since. So, but I think he's now starting to sort of go back to where he was at the beginning, his guitar playing. So I think he's going for the whole sort of celebrity cycle and coming out of it back to where he was.
Well, what's interesting is now he's with Dead and Company, and he won over Dead fans. I saw him performing, and it's legit, the real deal. And it's also interesting because, and I think he has come around full circle on stage. He's obviously the spotlight's on him when he's doing solos and he takes vocals, but you could just tell he's part of an ensemble. Like he's humbled and he's learned his lesson, and I think he writes about it in his music. He learned. He's a kid. He's a kid, and all of a sudden he's got all this fame and fortune. And he was dating these famous girls, and
that's right. Yeah, and I'll never forget it. Every time he interviewed, I got to interview him. He showed me his latest tattoo. So he started out with having, like, I think 1 or 2 tattoos. When he came out 6 months later, he had another 5 and 6, and then when he came out a year later, he had another. And he just kept showing me. He says, "Oh, this is where I got that at." It was just amazing seeing his whole story happening in front of me.